Planet Crafter is a nice, relaxing game about terraforming an alien world. It's a typical open world survival crafting game with base building where you don't have to worry about enemies attacking you. It's just survival against the elements while you slowly terraform a planet. And if that's the kind of gameplay you like, then you probably have already checked out Planet Crafter and are enjoying it. But maybe you're not enjoying everything about it. So that is why in this video, I have my top mod picks for quality of life mods to make the gameplay a bit better. Some of these mods are recreations of previous mods that the original creators kind of let go to the side and haven't been updating. So all of the mods today are up to date, working with the full release version of the game as of the time this video is posted, and they're all just so happens from the same creator. Now, if you don't know how to mod Planet Crafter, don't worry, I have a video for you on exactly how easy it is to do it. Just check the description below for the link. So mod number 1 is disable build constraints. Now, this can be a bit of a cheating type of mod, but the reason I am including the mod is perhaps there's some place where the terrain doesn't visually look like it's intersecting with something that you're trying to build, but it is for some reason intersecting with it and not allowing you to build the way you want. So it's a perfect way to turn off using Control G the build constraint so you can build just a little bit further in. Maybe you want to build something in a location that the devs decided they didn't want you to build it. Like, say, for example, here, all of the butterfly farms on a foundation grid. Because normally you have to build these on the ground, apparently because you gotta have a little bit of greenery there at the bottom. But to me, they look like big bird baths, basically. Basically fountains. So it makes sense to me that I should be able to build them on the foundation grid. So using the disable build constraints allowed me to do that. Mod number 2 is the auto store mod. And what this does is it lets you, like the name says, auto store items from your inventory into a container automatically. Basically taking, when you first start out, any container that has a matching item, it will automatically transfer that to. Or once you start getting things organized into separate containers, making it easier for you to go out, gather up some supplies, and then simply come back to your base and press the button K. And assuming you already have at least one piece of that matching item in a container, it will dump into that container. However, you also can go in and use the include list and exclude list options to change what items are affected. Now, you might be thinking, there's a problem. If I don't have that item in a container, how is it going to match? Well, that was a problem with the original mod, but with the updated version, this new one from the new mod creator, if we go in and set a container, such as this one, to exclamation mark and then the item name, and the list of item identifiers is on the mod page, so you don't have to go digging for those. Then once you go into the config file and turn on store by name to true, which is off by default, then you can press K and it won't matter if there is an item in here that matches iridium. It will put the iridium in this container automatically. And now, one of my absolute favorite mods, the item stacking mod, which is exactly what it says. It allows you to stack your items. Normally we get one item per tile, but with the item stacking mod, you get the ability to stack your items in whatever quantity you want. Just go in the config file for the mod after you open the game at least once, so the config file is created, and you can go and adjust the stack size. Here I'm using just a nice simple stack size of 10, but you can bump this to 20, 50, 100. Just understand that the higher the number, the more you might see some lag as it's calculating the amount of items you're going to have in storage. Now, normally a left click will transfer a item from the storage to your inventory and vice versa. But with the mod for stacking, if you hold shift while you left click, it transfers that entire stack back and forth. So you can see here, I can transfer nice big stacks of 10 by holding down the shift button, and it just honestly makes it a lot nicer to be able to have a lot more storage and not feel so constrained by just a set number of tiles. So mod number 4 is definitely going to be a personal preference type of thing, and that is the craft from nearby containers mod. The original craft from containers mod, same functionality, again, just hasn't been updated in a while, but it does exactly what it sounds like. You have nothing in your inventory that matches, and yet if you are in a range of one of your containers that has the necessary items, you could go ahead and make stuff. Like I have no ice in my inventory, but I could craft a water bottle because I am nearby to a container that has ice in it. Now, this also applies to things such as building, not just the crafting, but the building. So here, I had nothing in my inventory, yet I could make the tier 2 beehive. And again, no build constraints, let me build it inside. Now, if you go into the config file, you can change the range at which it detects the containers for building and using the items. As you can see here, I have certain things that I'm out of range of, so I can't pick them up. You can also change the key that is now added with this version of the mod to allow you to enable and disable the effect while you're playing instead of having to remove the mod, by stopping the game and then reloading the game. And right now, by default, that's the home key on your keyboard. So simply pressing home will activate or deactivate the feature that allows you to pull from nearby containers and build or craft without having to worry about putting all your stuff in your inventory. Now, if you like games like Subnautica and the way that's handled, maybe you don't want to do this. But if you've been playing something, say, like Pal World recently, where you can access all of your inventory from within your base, then this might make sense for you. Mod number 5 is Recyclers Deposit into Containers. And you might see a theme here. The mods are named according to what they do pretty much, which is when you normally recycle with a recycling machine, it spews the contents out on the floor. Maybe you're not using the item stacking mod, so you're using things like uranium rods to compress your storage of uranium down. So you need some raw uranium, and you go put a rod in there to spit it out. And normally it would be spewing those items out. But with the Recyclers Deposit into Containers mod, it deposits into, by default, a container named Recycled with the asterisk star symbol at the front. However, you can also go and specifically name certain containers to allow it to deposit into those using the same convention. Another nice feature is that this automatically will cycle through doing recycling. So you actually don't even have to press the button to make it do anything. You just dump some stuff in and it goes, which makes this a really great tie-in with the drones. You can have your drones bringing down stuff like, say, larvae that you do not need and you produced accidentally trying to produce something else, and it will automatically recycle them and dump the results into the recycled container where you can have your drones ready to pick up the items and transport them back where they need to go. And so the last one, mod number 6, is Auto Sequence DNA. Now this is one, if you have followed my live streams, you know I've been using for a while. And it is so great in terms of helping you to automate the process of trying to get a ton of larvae. You're wanting to get so many bee larvae so you can set up your bee farm, get honey, or you're trying for those luxurious golden larvae or golden fish eggs. And it's so much trouble to remember to come back here and pick up the eggs or pick up the larva, get the results, and then start it again. Well, the auto sequence DNA does what it says it does. And you can see here we have a similar naming convention to the container. So here, the asterisk star bacteria means this is the container is going to look for bacteria samples for auto sequencing. The same thing with here's mutagen. It will look for either type of mutagen, and then fertilizer, it'll look for that. Fish eggs, when you create fish eggs, they will deposit here. There are input and output container names, and these are all listed on the mod page. And one of the things that got changed later on in the development of this mod is originally it would work anywhere in the map. You could have these here and have a sequencer on the other side of the map. It would still pull from these containers. but now it's limited in range, which is great because it means you can separate things out how you need to isolate down, say, your production of just bee larvae, because you really want to make sure you get those bee larvae and you don't want your fertilizer being used for something else. So again, these are my choice of quality of life mods that I feel add the best blend of improvements to some of the gameplay mechanics without being over the top, without making it too cheaty or too simplified, and are most importantly adjustable to allow you to fine-tune how you like the mods. You want item stacking, but you only want to stack 5 items? You can do that. Do you want to have the auto store only store stuff that you pick up off of the ground out here? You can do that. That is the nice part of it, that it allows you with these mods to not only fine-tune the gameplay to your liking by using the mods, but they are all adjustable. So is there a mod that you find improves the quality of life for you in this game that I did not mention? Leave it in a comment below. Let's see what else everybody likes to use and share, and maybe I'll do a follow-up video for some of the mods you mentioned. And of course, if this video helped you out or you just like hearing me ramble, hit that thumbs up button and hit subscribe because, hey, it helps me out, helps the channel out.